The end of Pope Francis's papacy at the age of 88 on Easter Monday signifies the conclusion of a period marked by profound reforms and distinctive leadership in the Catholic Church. Pope Francis, the first pontiff from the Americas, emphasized inclusivity, outreach to the marginalized, and a staunch commitment to addressing global issues, such as climate change and social justice. His papacy was characterized by efforts to humanize the Church's approach to both followers and the broader global community, ushering in a historic era that challenged traditional norms while remaining rooted in faith. The importance of this moment lies in the uncertainties and opportunities it presents for the Vatican as it transitions to new leadership. The Church stands at a crossroads, determining how best to continue Pope Francis's legacy while addressing the evolving needs of a global congregation. This period, known as Sede Vacante, or the empty seat, is a time of reflection and anticipation. The College of Cardinals is tasked with electing the next pope, a decision with the potential to influence the Church's direction, adherent relations, and global stature for decades. One real-world example of Pope Francis's impact is his encyclical Laudato Si, which calls for urgent action against climate change, resonating with Catholics and non-Catholics alike. Another is his push for more inclusive discussions within the Church, such as addressing issues related to LGBTQ+ individuals and re-examining the role of women in Church leadership. Such initiatives have sparked significant discourse within religious and secular communities, prompting calls for continued dialogue and action. Supporting opinions often highlight Pope Francis's compassionate approach and his efforts to bridge divides within and beyond the Church. His leadership model offered a counter-narrative to more conservative elements within the Vatican, advocating for a Church that is as engaged with contemporary issues as it is with spiritual guidance. However, Pope Francis's papacy was not without controversy. Critics argue that his progressive stances may have alienated traditionalists who fear the dilution of core doctrines. Additionally, his efforts to reform the Vatican's bureaucracy faced internal resistance, revealing the complexities of enacting change within such an entrenched institution. This transition in the Vatican is pivotal, as it dovetails with both mourning a beloved leader and the strategic future of the Catholic Church. The decisions made during this time will not only shape the legacy of Pope Francis, but also determine how effectively the Church can maintain relevancy, unity, and moral authority in a rapidly changing world, leaving many to speculate who will next occupy the chair of St. Peter. The death of Pope Francis at 88 on Easter Monday marks a significant moment in the history of the Catholic Church, bringing an end to a transformative papacy characterized by its emphasis on inclusivity, social justice, and ecological concern. As the Vatican enters Sede Vacante, or the period between popes, the stage is set for the College of Cardinals to convene for a conclave, a gathering to elect a new pope. This period is of great significance as it addresses the seamless transition of religious leadership, ensuring continuity in the guidance of the world's 1.2 billion Catholics. Sede Vacante is crucial because it holds within it the suspense and anticipation of choosing a new leader who will not only continue the work of previous pontiffs, but may introduce new directions for the Church's future. Historically, the election of a pope has been pivotal in shaping the Church's stance on global issues. For instance, Pope John Paul II played a key role in the fall of communism in Europe, while Pope Francis reshaped the Church's approach to interfaith dialogue and climate change advocacy. The anticipation surrounding the conclave underscores the weighing of different perspectives within the Church. Some cardinals may champion a traditionalist approach, focusing on doctrinal orthodoxy, while others may seek a progressive path, reflecting Pope Francis's legacy of reform and outreach. Opinions among Catholics and observers vary widely. Some believe a continuation of Francis's legacy is essential for the Church to remain relevant in a rapidly changing world, while others argue for a return to more conservative values, fearing that too much change can confuse foundational beliefs. Challenges and controversies inevitably surface during these transitions. The Church faces pressing issues such as the decline in vocations, dwindling attendance in Western countries, and scandals such as clerical abuse. Each of these challenges influences the selection of the next pope, as the electors must consider who is best suited to address such contentious issues and guide the Church through them. In this interregnum, the Vatican does not only mourn the passing of a leader, but gears for strategic decisions that ripple across all facets of Church life. The elections are a reflection of internal dynamics and are likely to shape the Church's global posture, impacting discussions of faith, morality, and its role in society. The outcome of this conclave will likely influence the Church's response to current global challenges, ensuring that the seat of St. Peter aligns with the modern world, while maintaining its spiritual heritage. Pope Francis's legacy is a pivotal aspect of any discussion surrounding the transition period in the Vatican following his death. His papacy has been marked by a series of groundbreaking reforms and an emphasis on humility, inclusiveness, and a return to foundational gospel values. The significance of Pope Francis's legacy lies in his transformative impact on the Catholic Church's direction, opening it to previously unheard discussions on issues such as LGBTQ+ rights, climate change, and economic inequality. His approach marked a departure from traditionalism, advocating for a church that is more accessible and compassionate toward marginalized communities. For instance, Pope Francis's encyclical Laudato Si addressed environmental issues with unprecedented urgency, urging the Church and global leaders to take action against climate change, a move that resonated beyond religious circles into global policy debates. Another example is his emphasis on mercy and forgiveness, as demonstrated by the Year of Mercy in 2016, where he encouraged acts of compassion and widened the scope for offering absolution to individuals traditionally marginalized or condemned by the Church. These reforms reflect broader opinions within the Church and beyond, which support a more progressive and engagement-oriented papacy. Many admire his courage to steer the Church toward contemporary issues, aligning religious teachings with modern-day societal challenges. However, Pope Francis's legacy isn't without its challenges and controversies. Traditionalists within the Church have expressed concern that his reforms might dilute core doctrines. His open stance on contentious issues has sometimes sparked backlash, creating a divide between conservative factions and those calling for modernization. Additionally, his handling of the sexual abuse crisis, while proactive compared to predecessors, has faced criticism for not being sufficiently rigorous or transparent. As the Vatican enters the Sede Vacante, Pope Francis's legacy deeply influences the dynamics of electing the next pope. The College of Cardinals, largely shaped by his appointments, operates under the philosophies he espoused. This legacy may pave the way for a new pope who continues his trajectory, thus setting long-term paths for the Church's role in contemporary global issues. The next leader's challenge will be to either uphold or redefine these pathways, balancing modern progressive trends with traditional Catholic values. Pope Francis's influence thus remains potent as the world watches the Vatican navigate this crucial period of mourning and transition, pondering who will next shape the future from the chair of St. Peter. The Sede Vacante, Latin for empty seat, refers to the period when the papal office is vacant following the death or resignation of a pope. It's a time when the world turns its gaze to the Vatican, as the Roman Catholic Church embarks on the path of electing a new leader. During this period, the papal responsibilities temporarily fall to the College of Cardinals, who also prepare for the Conclave, the secretive voting process that ultimately selects the next pope. This transition is crucial for the Church and its 1.3 billion followers worldwide, marking a significant moment of reflection and anticipation. Papal elections have historically been pivotal, often bringing shifts in Church direction and priorities. The significance of this transition is heightened given Pope Francis's transformative 8-year papacy, which has been characterized by a focus on inclusivity, social justice, and reform. The forthcoming decisions will profoundly impact the Church's relationship with its members, other religions, and global socio-political dynamics. In recent history, the elections of Popes John Paul II in 1978 and Francis in 2013 are prime examples of how new leadership set transformative courses for the Church. John Paul II's papacy brought global outreach and influence, particularly in Eastern Europe, while Francis has championed climate change awareness and compassionate pastoral care, reshaping the Church's modern image. Opinions supporting the importance of the Sede Vacante highlight it as a period ripe for reflection and potential rejuvenation. It brings the chance for continuity or change in responding to contemporary issues, from secularization to moral teachings on controversial issues. However, challenges abound, such as balancing tradition with modernity, the temptation of politicization within the Vatican, or addressing internal scandals that have plagued the Church. Alternative viewpoints may argue the inadequacy of a conclave system rooted in centuries-old tradition in addressing modern Church needs, or the lack of representation for lay members in choosing their spiritual leader. These challenges underscore the tension between upholding timeless doctrines versus adapting to an evolving world. This transition influences all facets of church life, from everyday worship to global influence. The upcoming decisions and leadership approach will inevitably impact the Church's ethos and operational priorities, shaping its ability to sustain, inspire, and connect with believers worldwide while navigating pressing contemporary issues. As such, the Sede Vacante isn't just a time of mourning and election. It's a pivotal juncture in religious history with far-reaching implications.